Hi, I'm Mike Rizzo.
And I'm Michelle Rizzo.
And this is Northwest Brew Talk. Welcome to Northwest Brew Talk, the number one podcast on Washington beer. We'd like to welcome our first sponsor, Micro Homebrew, located in Kenmore. This is episode number 68. Each and every week, we promote the Washington brewing industry by talking to those people involved in drinking Washington beer. If you like to drink Washington beer, learn about the people behind it here on our show. With over 300 breweries, we try to highlight as many as possible every episode. If you're new to the show, we suggest you check out our back catalog with some great interviews and tons of Washington beer. This week on the Micro Homebrew interview, we talk with Salish Sea Brewing. We also have our brew news and local music from Aaron Semer.
If you have any comments or questions, feel free to send us an email to nwbrewtalk@gmail.com. We are on Twitter at nwbrewtalk and on Facebook at facebook.com/nwbrewtalk. If you like the show and want to support us, share our link and tell your friends on social media. It takes just a few to start a revolution. To start the show, let's open our first beer. Our first beer is brewed by Farmstrong, located in Mount Vernon. They are family-friendly and dog-friendly as well. Open 6 days a week. They are closed on Mondays. We are drinking their Skagit Cold Beer Pilsner, an insanely sessionable lager with a surprising amount of flavor. This is the Northwest Light Lager that you are going to love. 3.6% ABV, 12 IBUs, and an untapped rating of 3.37.
I know it doesn't say on here, but it's called Skagit Pilsner, which makes me believe this has Skagit Valley malt in it.
I don't know.
Oh, I'm thinking it might, but we're not positive, just in case. This is very light in color.
Very light color.
Yeah, but it has a real thick malt flavor.
Oh, yeah. Very malty.
Yeah, it's actually not bad. And it does say sessionable.
Which it is.
All right, so this is definitely, how much?
3.6%.
3.6%.
And 12 IBU, so
3.6?
Yep, 3.6.
Wow.
Very sessionable.
Very sessionable. I can see why it's low ABV.
Yeah, but very malty. It has a lot of flavor to it.
Yeah, it's got a lot of good flavor to it. And, this is definitely something you can have, they call it lawnmower beers. You can have a couple of them while you're mowing the lawn. So, not a bad beer from Farmstrong in Mount Vernon. And now, on to this week's brew news. And topping this week's brew news, we are at the grand opening of Cardinal Craft Brewing from the Skagit Valley College here in Burlington. And it's very cool. Very cool setup here. What they've got is a tour of the facility itself, the Brewing Academy. One of the first, if not the very first, community college in the state offering a brewing academy. A bunch of breweries from throughout the area offering their educational background into helping these aspiring brewers. And plus, Skagit Valley College has some people from their Culinary Institute providing hors d'oeuvres. So it's very cool. You got a bunch of the local breweries here serving samples of their beer. Okay, we're here with John Stiles. You're one of the first students in the first class of the Brewing Academy here.
Yeah.
So what brought you here? What was your interest?
Well, once I moved down to Seattle when I was like 21, I just sort of experienced for the first time how big craft brewing is in Washington and how important it is to the society, I believe anyway. And my dad just sent me a text saying, hey, check it out, Skagit Valley College, your old college, has this new program they're trying to get together. And I thought, cool, let's do it. I live down in Linwood right now, but I'll drive 60 miles every day.
Really?
Or 60 miles plus, there and back.
Yeah.
No big deal for me. And it's just kind of a cool way to get into this industry that I kind of have respect for.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing. We talk to a lot of people and the industry, although there's over 300 breweries in Washington, it's starting to get a little tougher to just get a job without having some experience.
Yeah, you can't just fall into a brewery and kind of get a job. Yeah. Now, back then you could, I think Tony, who's one of our instructors, he just kind of happened to be at Skagit Valley Brewery just over and over again. Finally started cleaning kegs, then moved to head brewery. Now he owns his own brewery.
Yeah.
You can't really do that anymore.
Yeah.
I could go to Diamond Knot every day for the rest of my life and probably not get a job.
Yeah, exactly.
This way, though, in 4 months, I get a certificate stating that I have experience plus knowledge about the inner workings of a brewery. Not only how to make beer, but how to run a brewery as well, which is kind of really important these days.
It is. We've talked to everybody from people that were home brewers to recently we just talked to a guy who owns a bar, who started a brewery, who had all that business background, and to him that was a huge difference. And I think that's one of the things too, having that background, knowing a little bit about the business end. Yeah,
and some of the students here already have business background. Like the guy who sits right in front of me, his name is Mark. He's in the Navy.
Okay.
He's about to get out of the Navy, and he already has a brewery startup going in Oak Harbor.
Oh, okay.
I forgot what the name. He's told me like 3 times what it's called, but I keep forgetting.
You'll be there with 4 months. You'll know.
Yeah, I'll go and visit him. But like he already hasn't started. He just needs someone who has some knowledge. So he's the one here learning.
Okay.
But he's already got a business partner and the money and everything and the place and everything. It's like 90% done. It's always the last 10% that's the hardest part, though, because that's when things start to go wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
From what I've seen.
So was this a business or a business that you wanted to get into before, or was it something that after you saw this?
Yeah, when I was living down in like Seattle, I was just working. I'm a sales associate at Bevmo, and I talked to a lot of people about beer, and it's not necessarily like I want to start a brewery. I just want to work in a brewery for now. Maybe later on, because I'm only 25, I got some time to sort of experience more stuff. But this industry just kind of speaks to me right now. I've homebrewed a couple times and I really enjoyed it. I want to do it on a bigger scale. I want to make beer for people. I want people to like that beer. Yeah. I don't necessarily have to own a brewery to do that. I can just work my way there.
All right, cool. Well, thanks, John.
Yeah, of course.
192 Brewing in Kenmore is celebrating their 4th anniversary this Memorial Day weekend. To thank the community, they're having a free music festival starting Friday and running through Monday. 8 bands, 4 days. At Large Brewing will have their grand opening Memorial Day weekend, May 27th through 29th. At Large outgrew their original garage-based location and moved to a new, larger location in Everett. During the grand opening, they'll have food trucks each day, as well as plenty of beer, of course. They've been closed since April 30th. Some sad news in the brewing community we just found out. Mary Horton, the co-founder of Fish Brewing Company, died in Louisiana where she lived. With her former husband, Crane Horton, they opened the brewery in Olympia in 1993. She left the company in 1999 but held on to most of her shares. We extend our condolences to the family.
The biggest beer festival in Washington, the Washington Brewers Festival, takes place on Father's Day weekend, June 17th through the 19th. The 11th annual event will feature more than 500 beers from 110 Washington breweries. Held at Merrimore Park in King County, this 3-day event features beer, food trucks, live music, the results of the Washington Beer Awards, and the infamous keg toss. The Friday event is over 21, but Saturday and Sunday are all ages. The inaugural Washington Beer 5K will also take place on Sunday morning, June 19th.
The 3rd annual Brewshed Brewfest will be held on June 4th at Hales Al's Palladium. The event supports the Washington Brewshed Alliance, an outreach initiative of Washington Wild designed to help spread a simple message. Protected water makes superior downstream beer. The $25 admission gets you tickets to sample beers from Brewshed partners. Great beer, great cause. Here's a story you may have seen on social media. 6-pack plastic rings are horrible for the environment and worse for marine animals that get caught in them. According to a report published in the journal PNAS, researchers have found that about 90% of seabirds have eaten plastic, and are likely to retain some in their gut. Saltwater Brewery in Delray Beach, Florida has come up with an alternative that is 100% biodegradable and compostable, made from beer byproducts during the brewing process, such as barley and wheat. They are edible 6-pack rings that marine life can eat if they end up in the ocean. The product does cost a little more, but they hope more breweries will invest in the technology to bring the cost down.
And lastly this week, our book Washington Beer arrives next week on May 30th.
Woohoo!
On Saturday, June 4th, the book will officially be launched at the amazing one-day book release event. Starting at 11 a.m., we will be in Bellingham at Chuckanut Brewery for a book signing. Chuckanut will also offer a tour of their brewing facility at 11:30, and then it's a free tour, so that's a great deal. At 3 p.m., we're going to be down in Ballard at Populuxe Brewing for a short history talk and a book signing. And then at 7 p.m., we will be at Pike Brewing. And originally, we were supposed to be in the microbrewery museum, but now we're going to be right at the front door. So you'll be able to find us right away if you're near the front bar or the front door, front area. So we'll be right there. So that's going to be great. We will also be at the Washington Brewers Festival Father's Day weekend, signing books and promoting Northwest Brew Talk. Great place to pick up a signed copy of the book or stop by to get an interview with Northwest Brew Talk. And that is it for the Brew News this week.
Welcome back to Northwest Brew Talk. If you want to submit news to Northwest Brew Talk, send us an email to nwbrewtalk@gmail.com. If you've not yet subscribed to our podcast, why not do it now? It's free, available anywhere you listen to podcasts, including iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, and TuneIn Radio.
Okay, on this week's Micro Homebrew interview, we're talking to Jeff, the founder of Salish Sea Brewing in Edmonds.
Here at Salish Sea Brewing in Edmonds, talking to Jeff, and you are the founder and head brewer, right?
Correct.
All right. So, Edmonds, is this where you're from?
I am not from Edmonds. I am from Seattle. We decided on Edmonds based on it was a nice place to raise our family, and there were no other small breweries in town other than the American Brewing and Gallagher's Where You Brew.
Okay. And might as well go there. American, you had did some work there, right?
I had worked with Skip Madsen down at American Brewing, and he had mentored me through the process of learning how to work a commercial brewery.
So how long were you working with him?
I'd worked with him for the first 2 years of the operations at American, and in the process we developed our plan and got everything going for the Salish Sea Brewing Company.
So was that your goal? Was your goal to open this when you went to work at American?
Completely.
Oh, it was?
Yeah,
Okay.
with understanding that I needed to go from being a home brewer to understanding how a commercial brewery worked to getting a good mentorship and good understanding of what it was to make quality beer.
Okay. And so how long were you a home brewer?
I had home brewed on and off since college, and a lot of on our back patio in Seattle, and just getting the process down, small batches, sometimes multiple batches a week, sometimes only a few batches a year.
So what made you want to, when you opened up in 2013? 13, okay. So 2013, what made you want to start a beer? So a couple of years before that, you were working with Skip, too.
Right, yeah. In 2010, my wife and I attended the Craft Brewers Conference in San Francisco, where we were putting our plan together. It had been a goal. I think a lot of people had thought about the opportunity to open a bar or a restaurant and to get things going. We love the craft brew industry. We have many friends that have done it. We'd seen the success, and we'd seen the hard work that people had put in, and we were willing to put in the hard work to be a viable part of a community.
So were you working a full-time job before that?
My wife and I both worked full-time. We had got everything going. She still maintains working full-time. This is more than full-time for me.
Sure.
So I'm currently here hours a week.
Wow. And that's what owning a small business is about, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
But, so now you've been open for 2 years, or 3 years. 2.5. And has it lived up to what you've expected to this point?
It's exceeded our expectation. We started off in a small space with 600 square feet of tap room and 600 square feet of warehouse space in the back. Within a year, we were able to sign, or 16 months, we were able to sign a contract taking on an additional 700 square feet, adding onto our tap room, adding additional vessels, a fourth fermenter and a second bright tank. So we have 40 barrels of fermentation and 20 barrels of finishing product at all times. We are able to accommodate about 65 people in our tap room, and we are looking forward to another expansion that late this fall will take on the neighboring 700 square feet.
That's awesome. And that's that's the goal, to slowly build a small business, grow it, and hopefully it's success. And sounds like that's where this is heading at this point.
Things are going in a great way. So we added food this spring, which has increased our stay time for our guests.
Oh, yeah.
Where now they can sit and they can have a soup and a sandwich or a pretzel or a house-made cheese sauce and enjoy a few beers, leave with a growler, and come back bringing friends for an event night.
Right. So, yeah, that's a good thing. And then after the expansion, how many capacity will you have?
After the expansion, we'll have roughly 100 seats inside the space. We'll add a full-service kitchen, where right now it's a soup and sandwich kitchen. We're making everything from scratch and on site.
Nice.
And but we'll be able to do things. We'll add a fryer and a hood and be a fully functional brew pub as opposed to a tap room with a kitchen.
Right, nice. So when you decided to go with the food, did you hire somebody to do that?
I have hired people to assist and help with the food. I have a series of people working in the kitchen and cooks, but everything from the beer development to the food development came from Erica and I.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. So let's talk a little bit about the beer then.
Sure.
When you were home brewing, what did you like to brew?
I like to brew ambers and IPAs, and I like to drink stouts and porters.
Okay. Okay, you like to brew the one, but drink the other.
I like them all. So, but yeah, my preference is for a darker beer.
Right.
But I've grown more fond of the varying differences in the IPAs from this area.
Yeah. With the varying hops and everything, you get so many different flavors out of them.
Yeah. And a lot of it was just realizing how the hops work.
Okay, yeah.
Just the dynamic of what you can pull out of the beer, how you can make the beer work, how you can just get different qualities out of each hop.
Right.
And for each beer, depending on the malt bill, how much water, how much of each grain, how much and when do the hops go in.
Nice. So when you first started, did you have recipes already set that you were going to go with, or did you just start working on new ones?
It doesn't exactly scale up from a homebrew process.
Right,
it doesn't go from 5-gallon bucket to a 10-barrel batch.
Right.
So there is a lot of learning and stuff involved in that. This is where Skip Madsen had held my hand through the whole process.
Yeah.
He'd been a great friend, a great mentor. He and I had developed a fantastic relationship of looking at where the beers were, where we wanted them to be. And after having worked with him and made his beer, I didn't want to make his beer here. I wanted to make our beer. And so I worked on altering those things. And it's a process of alteration and evolution. And learning each time we're able to fine-tune the beer. It's part of the quality of a brewery this size is that I'm not stuck with making the same things exactly the same way every time. Because I'm not bottling and canning.
Right.
And we are a boutique craft microbrewery that produces 20 kegs per batch. I'm allowed to vary it, and my audience likes it when I vary the beer.
So you get that somebody will come in and say, "Oh, your IPA tastes a little different than the last time I had it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe I won't make the same IPA that batch. We do have a steady stream of what we like to provide because we have stuff that we sell, and we sell it consistently. We have bars and restaurants that want it, and a lot of our guests in-house want the same thing. But they love when they come in and they say, "Oh, hey, there's a new IPA on," or "What did you do different this summer for the session?" Or "How is your winter different this year than it was last year?"
Nice. Yeah, and like you said, doing smaller batches, it allows you to do that where you're not doing 80 barrels at a time or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, why don't we try one of them here?
Let's try some beer.
Yeah. We'll start with your Honey Gold.
Okay.
Why don't you?
Can we grab the note sheet?
Sure. Yeah. You can tell us a little bit about it.
Okay. The Honey Gold is our lightest beer. It is our answer to making a Pilsner or lager. Just because I don't handle a lager yeast.
Okay.
It is a very, very basic pale ale. It competes with a lot of Pilsners that way. Not too hoppy at 13 IBU and only 4% alcohol. Oh, no. So it's very drinkable, very sessionable. It is our year-round sessionable light ale.
So would this be the one you'd point to someone that comes in that's not normally a craft beer drinker?
Yeah, a lot of people that come in and they just don't understand craft beer. They will come in and ask for this. It also works because I don't make a Hefeweizen.
Okay.
I'll carry a Hefeweizen as a guest ale, but as something that's not too hoppy, kind of an entry level pale ale.
Yeah. It's good. Yeah. It does have that good flavor to it. So it tastes like you expected.
Yeah, it tastes like you expect it to. So it's not going to offend you.
No, it's good. So let's talk a little bit. You mentioned that the different elevations inside the tap room here, and how you purposely set different table sizes and everything.
Yeah.
So why don't you just go over that a little bit?
When we first opened the space, we had one of the suites of three, and the three are on a 3% incline throughout the street. So it goes going from west to east, it goes from down to up. And so each space is roughly 2 foot higher than the other, which allows us to divide the space, giving a sense of intimacy, but it also gave us a direction as far as where our table heights went. So we looked at making different table heights to work within the space. People can if they choose to sit at a chair, they can sit at a chair. If they choose to sit at a stool, they can sit at a stool. But it doesn't crowd people. It doesn't feel like a banquet hall. It makes it actually feel much larger than it is.
Yeah, that's cool. So, even your original space, it's once you look at it, there was quite a few seats in there. It was a little bigger than it looked from up here until I actually looked into it.
So we did the layout and design with a lot of paper doll drawings and graph paper, and trying to maximize the amount of space that we could possibly have.
Yeah, no, it's good because been in some places that they're really tight.
Yeah.
You're on top of everything.
Well, it was a matter of also using the same space for the brewery as we use for seating.
Right.
So I have tables that all fold up in a very Tetris-like way. There is a way to put it away and put it back together. Because when we brew, the wall falls down, and we take everything so that we can create the maximum amount of space for safety of brewing and to be able to access our equipment.
Nice. All right, I'm going to try the ISA here.
Pretty exciting here, Pete. Kind of a big deal.
So your ISA, why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
ISA at 4.8% alcohol, and 55 IBU. It's a hoppy pale ale. So it's very light, very crisp, easy to drink. We focused on making something that wasn't too malty, that wasn't going to be overtoned with heavy malt, but something where the hop character would come back out. So we dry hopped it with Amarillo, Citra, and Mosaic hops. And it's very clean. Doesn't leave an aftertaste. It's just a nice, quick, dry finish.
Yeah, you do get both. You can taste malt, but you get the hops in there too. Yeah, it's good.
It's a matter of balancing the beer.
So, how talking about that? I mean, when you first started doing it yourself, what was it like trying to get balance on beers like that?
Trying to get balance on a homebrew batch, or trying to get balance on a professional batch? On a professional. On a homebrew batch, it's just, you got so much oxygen involved, it's just going to taste, we all think it tastes awesome, but everybody else kind of looks at it like you're a little confused.
But before you go any further there,
right.
when you were doing homebrew, did you have friends and family that's like, oh, this stuff is great?
Everybody compliments your beer and then walks away with a weird face, just like we all do. I get people coming in here every day, and everybody is so proud of what they've made, and they should be proud of what they made. They worked hard at it, but everyone comes in with, this is going to be the magic bullet. This is going to be your next recipe, and we're totally grateful for people to bring in their samples and be proud of what they've done. So it's fantastic. You should be proud.
Sure.
No matter, we're all proud of our kids' artwork, no matter how horrible it is. So in here on developing the balance of the hops, a matter of kind of going through, looking at software, looking at where are things we're going to wind up. Also, realizing the character that a Munich malt is going to bring in, and a Crystal 10 versus a 20. Are we going to, what brand of base malt are we going to use? Because there's different characters that come out of all those.
Right.
And then the timing on the hops. Do we do a first wort addition? Do we time it on these things? And looking at the calculations figuring out where they are, and after doing several batches of each, we can really develop, and we have great feedback from our guests. So our guests that come into the brewery let us know what they think, and we have fantastic vendors that we sell beer to on a regular basis, and they're great too. They give us their feedback, and we take that as direction.
Yeah.
We look at it as something that we can viably sell. So we want people to be happy and to order another beer.
Right. So you like darker beers yourself.
Yeah.
But do you brew what your customers are going to like, or do you brew what you like?
We brew a combination of everything.
Okay.
So I love a great IPA. I think they're fantastic. I also like to mow my lawn and have a can of Rainier. But with the like when we go with an IPA, we really want to steer it towards both our palates and our customers, and try to make it unique, try to make it interesting, and have it be our own, but not so interesting that it's weird.
Right.
We want it interesting enough that you want to leave with a growler of it and come back and have another with your friends and brag on it with them and talk about your local brewery.
Yeah, we did. Michelle's brother's been here a couple times. Said that we had to come. He loves the beer, so
It's awesome.
yeah. So that was one of the reasons why we wanted to come down and get an interview with you
Yeah.
too. But all right,
Let's try the IPA.
yeah, we're gonna try the IPA.
Try the
Talking
IPA.
about it, let's try it.
This is our best seller. This is our Drop Anchor IPA. Citra, Amarillo, Faulkner Flight. It's got a great nose on it. Really focus on that aromatic and that citrusy and kind of grapefruity appeal to it.
Yeah.
And so we sell this probably 4-1 over everything
Wow.
else.
Yeah.
So at least every other batch is IPA.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good. IPAs are what I lean towards myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's Northwest here. You would think that everybody's selling IPAs, that people would be sick of it, but it's not even close.
No, they keep getting better and they keep changing. So
They
it
are.
needs to evolve.
Yeah.
We do have some beer we're like, gosh, that's a very 1996 IPA. But we really hope that ours is, keeping with the current trend, but also keeping to being a true IPA.
Yeah. Now, when you're looking to do a new beer, do you go to like a style book and look at style, or do you try? Do you go buy a couple from other companies and?
We've done that. We've done the thing where we've run down to the bottle shop and grabbed a few different things and thought about it. But we're not trying to clone somebody else's beer.
Right.
We're trying to make our own. So we do look at the aspects that other people have. So and we look at, okay, this is something of this beer that we find appealing. This is something that we want to avoid. Here's a character that we want to enhance. So yeah, so we'll do that. And I think it's great to drink other people's beer. We love it. We love going to other breweries and other bars and trying stuff we haven't had. I don't, we go to bars and restaurants that we sell beer to, and they all want to bring me a pint of my own beer, and that's great. I love that they're pouring it, but I want them to sell it.
Oh yeah.
And so, but I want to try what's different. Maybe something I haven't had, or something I've heard of.
Yeah.
So so we take advice and recommendations from sampling and all that, and we look at different attributes of the beer that we want to enhance or that we appreciate.
Yeah, we're kind of the same way. When we go out, it's like, okay, haven't had one from them before. I want to try that beer.
Right.
And
I love having flights at places.
Yeah.
We love going in, and Pete, our bar manager, just came in to get set up for the day, and he can tell you, we get people coming in, can I try a little this and a little that, and a little, and it's like, why don't you just order a flight and sit down and have a great time, and it works. It's great, and then people are really happy because then you do get a chance to try everything.
Oh, yeah.
So if we go to another brewery or to a bar, if they have the opportunity to pour a flight, love it. It's great. Pony up. Buy the flight.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I'll never have that one again, right?
Some of them, yeah. Some of them, that's for sure.
Yeah. You ever get that? Have you ever heard that on any of yours?
No, fortunately. Pete, have you ever heard anybody say, no, I'll never have that, or that's the worst beer I've ever had? No?
Mostly,
Not recently?
it's mostly a wine lady who comes in like, I think we'll branch out beer. Shows her the IPA and like, I'll just have a glass of wine.
Yeah, and we're fine with that.
Yeah.
We'll pour a person a glass of wine. Because we do get people that come in here that they're not beer people.
Right.
And we'll try stuff. The surprising thing is that we'll get not beer people in, and we'll pour them a little bit of a robust porter, and they love it because it's got those coffee tones, and it's not their dad's Beck's Dark that they remember.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's something different, and it's got a different body, a different whole flavor, and it looks like a latte.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Exactly.
Have a cappuccino, please.
Exactly. Cool. All right, let's try your amber.
All right. Now, the amber, we changed up the recipe a year ago, and I called it the expansion amber because on May 3rd, I punched a giant hole in the wall adjoining the two spaces, and on May 4th, we brewed up the amber, and I changed up the malt bill, and it changed up the hop character on it. It's all Willamette hop, and so it's all Northwest product that's in there. But we call it the expansion amber because it was like there might have been a little bit of drywall dust in the air that day.
So was there a reason why you wanted to change it up?
Yeah,
Time?
it was time to change it up.
Yeah.
I think before our amber, the previous batch that we'd done, we had experimented with some things, and it was a little bit on the bitter side, and so it had turned into more of an ESB rather than more of a British style with the way that the hop character came out, and with the malt. So we toned some of the malt down. We changed the style and timing of the hops that I put in there, and it just made it a really smooth, easy amber ale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, and I like ambers. Ambers are fun.
Yeah. So when you're looking to purchase, grain or hops, do you ever look for something that you haven't tried before?
Sometimes we will. So oftentimes we'll go ahead and, it depends on our provider.
Mm-hmm.
And it depends on the availability of the hops. So opening up a small brewery without having a hop contract, you are limited.
Right.
And so you're on the open market quite a bit. So you're looking at what's available on the open market from other breweries or what the hop providers might have. Mm-hmm. So you do kind of have to schedule your beer based on those things. The grain availability we get locally and trucked in. So that's not as difficult. Sometimes they're out of a specific thing. Sometimes we'll have to alter it. Maybe if a specific beer, maybe we have like an aromatic 20, we've got to go with a Munich 10, or vice versa. So sometimes we'll have to alter, or depending on our delivery, it may not have come on the shipment. Mm-hmm. And so where we may have been scheduled to make a specific beer on that date, we have to make adjustments based on the grain that we have available, because I don't have a giant storage area where I keep, thousands of pounds of grain on hand. I have enough for 3 batches of grain, or 3 batches of beer rather than 30 batches of beer.
Mm-hmm. Okay, interesting. So, let's try Big Chocolate Love.
Let's try the Big Chocolate Love. Now, this was a collaboration originally.
You can try this one first.
The first batch of Big Chocolate Love that we made in collaboration with the American Brewing Company in Edmonds.
Okay.
So Skip Madsen and I worked on putting this together. It was a robust porter for the Pike Brewing Company's Choco Fest.
Okay.
Oh.
So we did a couple kegs where we'd pulled the stem and done some infusion work on the kegs. And then we took 3 kegs, one with a caramel, one with a chocolate, and then one with just straight up Big Chocolate Love. And it turned out that straight up Big Chocolate Love was the favorite.
Oh yeah.
So, and it became a staple. It became something we keep year round.
Yeah.
It started as a Valentine's seasonal, effectively, and it turned into a year-round robust porter.
Interesting. Yeah. Now, traditionally, like the darker beers were considered more like winter beers, but we've noticed a lot of places that do carry them all year. So I mean,
now we have 3 different dark beers that we're doing right now, and sometimes I will run out of one of the 3. So we have our stout, we have our Big Chocolate Love, and we have a brown porter. And we decided to call it a brown porter more than anything, just based on the style of it, and that we used a lighter chocolate malt on it. It's very smooth. It's only 5.2% alcohol, so it's very drinkable, and 17 IBU. So it's not too hoppy. It's got a great flavor. Actually, Pete, can you pour a Kodiak for us too, please? We'll pour a little bit of that too. So but yeah, so the brown porter, really drinkable, really light, and kind of a cola-like finish in some ways. So we see a lot of people that drink the porters year round. I like them year round.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Right. Yeah. And I like soup year round too.
So do I.
Yeah.
So do I.
So come on, I like soup and a hot sandwich.
Yeah,
so,
I know.
Why not? Let's have a porter.
Exactly.
And it doesn't mean that you're curling up by the fire.
Exactly.
And it could be a bonfire.
There you go.
So
now, I noticed most of them ABV is lower on a lot of them. Do you ever do a high ABV on one?
yeah, we'll go ahead and make a big beer.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it is that my demographic. Most of my beer is sold in house.
Mm-hmm.
And most of our clientele are really looking for something that's not 7.5,
Okay.
8% alcohol.
You want to drink a couple?
They want to drink a couple beers,
Yeah.
and that's great. So we really have directed it towards the people that come into our tap room.
Mm-hmm.
The other fact is that I like to have a couple beers
Yeah.
and not just feel like I'm plastered to the wall
Yeah.
after 3.
Yeah.
So let's do this such that our IPA is at 6.5 as opposed to a lot of IPAs on the market that are 7.2 or 7.5, and we're getting the same quality. It tastes great, and we also offer in our tap room. We do a 18.5-ounce pour, so we're doing a large pint.
Yeah.
And it's that you're getting your full money's worth. You're getting a beer.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be that big. Okay, here's that brown porter. Try that one.
Okay, sure.
So see the color on that? You can look at the light. See, it's got kind of a cool, but it's kind of a dark mahogany color.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's really smooth,
Yeah.
and you're gonna have a good time with it. So that's the other thing too, is that all of our beer is really bright and clear.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so it's very bright. This is time and temperature. I haven't had to rush the beer. I've been able to give it appropriate time of cooling, where we haven't had to add chemical additives or anything to the beer. Everything is all natural. So
And they all come out clear then?
They all come out clear.
Nice.
So everything is bright, clear, wonderful.
Now, do you ever have to do water adjustment?
We haven't done any water adjustment. I've actually been talking. I've got a new guy I hired in to help me with brewing. So he comes with a lot of great credentials and some great experience. So one of the things that we're working on is we have done some water quality testing. Our water in Edmonds is fantastic. So we have really nice, clean water with low chlorine levels, and it's just really just premium for making beer. But we will be looking at adding a water filter.
Okay.
That will do some things. It's just a matter of when do I add it, and every time I turn around, it's $2,000 I have to spend on something.
Mm-hmm.
So. And it hasn't affected the quality of the beer.
Right.
So our water quality is solid.
So, cool. All right, last one here. Your stout.
Last one, the stout. Now the stout we made for a regular that comes into the brewery. So they're regulars. A girl had worked here on and off, and they run a gamer convention.
Okay.
So the OrcaCon game convention.
Mm-hmm.
And asked us to make a beer towards their thing. So we made the Blackfish Stout. So the Blackfish being the orca, and the stout because that's what she and her husband like to drink. And we made them a wonderful stout. So it was an analog game convention, orcacon.com.
Mm-hmm.
It's I'll give you guys a card before you go so you can...
I know what it is.
You know what it is? You're a gamer?
No, but I know what it is.
You know. All right. So that's the story with that. It's a great stout.
Yeah.
So
Like it.
we've got oatmeal and all that kind of good stuff in it. It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
they're all good. They all have nice, different flavors to them. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
What else we got, Mike? What else we want to try?
I don't know what else we want to try. Let's see. What else? Shoot.
I could have the
She's
boys
noisy
throw a
today.
sandwich together for you too.
Oh, we're good with that. Thanks.
Well, let me. Oh, hey Pete, I turned the oven and the panini press is on already, so everything's heated up. It's just a matter of. You're good. Okay. It's just the soup probably isn't ready. The soup isn't ready yet because the guy's got to heat it up.
So soup is homemade too?
Soup is homemade. So we're got a great tomato bisque. This weekend we do a soup of the day Thursday through Sunday. So this weekend it is a loaded potato corn chowder with German sausage. It's fabulous.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's meaty and potatoey and delicious.
Nice.
So, and then otherwise we've got turkey panini, a black forest ham, a caprese, and a pastrami sandwich, grilled cheese.
So, other than expanding one more time here,
Yeah.
I mean, what's the future for Salish Sea?
Future for Salish Sea, right now the future, it seems like I change every 16 months. So every 16 months I take on an additional 600, 700 square feet. This is the last of this space that I can take on here. So I cannot add more than there is building to add on to. So we will be adding the full kitchen, which will be a fully functional kitchen where we'll be expanding our food offerings again. So right now we're doing the best that we can in a space that is a kegging space. It's where my keg washer is. It's where my bright tanks are. We fold up the brewery at a certain point of the day and it becomes a kitchen. We clean up the kitchen at night and it's ready to be a brewery in the morning. So the nice part about doing the expansion is our kitchen and brewery will be separate completely.
Yeah.
They'll be able to operate at the same time, which will be great. The hard part that these guys have got is that my cooks are going back and making up a soup right now because they're not able to when we're kegging beer. I'll have 20 empty kegs going through the keg washer and attaching onto the bright tank and running in and yelling and screaming and swearing and all the good stuff that happens and loud music but yeah, we'll be able to separate those things. So the next phase for this is to get comfortable operating as a functional brew pub as opposed to a brewery tap room with kitchen.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Well, sounds like you're definitely on the path to being something that Washington can be proud of as a brewery.
That's what we're about. So
Yeah.
we developed ourselves as the city of Edmonds mantra is it's an Edmonds kind of day, and we were brave enough to go ahead and make a bumper sticker that said we're an Edmonds kind of beer. And we want to be about community. We give back to our community. We're involved in our Chamber of Commerce. We sponsor the local parades and local events, and local softball team, and school charities.
Nice.
So we want to be the neighborhood cafe brewery that sells beer to within a radius of our brewery. That's our deal with outside sales. Is I don't need to sell a tremendous amount outside, but I'd like to sell enough that we draw people to come into Edmonds. We're part of the tourism here, and we want to make sure that we're getting people interested to come and see our brewery.
Right.
We also like to promote people going to see other breweries. So we work with the other local breweries. I've got an event at the Diamond Knot in Montlake Terrace in 2 weeks, which is fun. They've been very supportive of us as well. So the industry is mutually supportive. We all talk well of each other. We all appreciate what each other have to offer because we all need something from each other at times too.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff, thanks very much for talking with us
It's
today.
my pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks to Jeff for joining us today. We really appreciate that.
If you are a home brewer looking for a great shop to buy your homebrew ingredients and equipment, why don't you check out Micro Homebrew in Kenmore? Tony and his staff are always happy to help a new or experienced homebrewer find what they need. At Micro Homebrew, they are proud to carry over 100 hop varieties. Visit them today at 17511 68th Avenue Northeast in Kenmore or on Facebook at Micro Homebrew. When you stop in, tell them you heard it on Northwest Brew Talk.
Over 100 hop varieties. I was really impressed when I saw that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, we'll be right back after a local music break from Aaron Semer.
on a Midwestern skyline, where relentless horizons send minds wandering down coast and skyways to highways and byways, your ways and my ways. We've traveled these paths before. We ride like gods in chariots to predestined futures and pass like circles. The parallel lines of wires, like maps across blue skies, drawing a straight line between 2 points, like a guide. And generations have lived and died here, but we'll be the first to leave here, if only we can sever the ties that bind. We stand like monuments and headstones, bloodlines mixed with bones and pass like circles. We send our kids to die long before their time. The cause is lost, families torn, and bodies sent home to mourn. Down coast and skyways to highways and byways, your ways and my ways. We've traveled these paths before. We ride like gods in chariots to predestined futures and pass like circles. We stand like monuments and headstones, bloodlines mixed with bones and pass like circles, and pass like circles.
That was Pass Like Circles by Aaron Semer. You can check him out at aaronsemer.bandcamp.com. If you want to have your music played on Northwest Brew Talk, contact us today. And now let's try our second pour this evening from Honeymoon Mead and Cider, located in Bellingham. They're open Monday through Saturday. We're drinking their Cider Head hard apple cider. Dry, crisp, English-style cider made with a blend of cider and culinary apples from Bellwood Acres in Linden. 5.5% ABV and an untapped rating of 3.16.
So it's cider and hard cider. Interesting.
Blend of cider and culinary apples.
Culinary apples. I wonder what those are.
I don't know. Maybe we should find out.
Very light color.
Oh, yeah. Very light.
I mean, it's almost white. It's like clear.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got a nice flavor. Got a nice smell as soon as I opened it.
Oh, yeah. Very dry, though.
Okay. So that's pretty good. I kind of like that.
Yeah, it's good.
It is very dry. I mean, you drink it, and it's like a dry wine.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, but that's not bad at all. Is it like a ginger or something in there?
You would probably be able to tell better than I would.
Well, you know what
It does kind of have that little ginger
gingery
taste.
or something, yeah. Well, you know what it is? Cinnamon or something. It's almost like an apple pie flavor kind
Well,
of.
cinnamon and ginger have completely different flavors.
Well, now that I'm thinking about it, it's kind of like an apple pie flavor almost.
Yeah, could be some cinnamon or something.
I don't know. That's pretty good.
Maybe just a type of apple.
Maybe, but that's pretty good.
I want you to get me fresh beer. You serious?
This week's Fresh Beer is a collaboration between Trapdoor and Fortside Brewing, both located in Vancouver. New Kids on the Hop is a dry-hopped Indian Pale Lager, golden color with the aroma of Halito Blanc and Centennial hops with a light malt flavor. 7% ABV, 60 IBUs, and an untapped rating of 3.86.
All right, and that brings us to the end of this episode of Northwest Brew Talk.
Make sure you tune in next week when we have a chat with Barrel Mountain Brewing.
Thanks to our sponsor, Micro Homebrew. This show is written and produced by Michelle Rizzo and myself.
If you want to contact us, you can email us at nwbrewtalk@gmail.com or find us on Twitter at nwbrewtalk. Our theme music is from Gilbert Neal. Check him out at gilbertneal.com.
Until next time, I'm Mike Rizzo.
And I'm Michelle Rizzo.
Stay hoppy, my friends.